Ethan Morton, Jaden Ivey, Zach Eady. Raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. Tom, right there. Go ahead.
Jaden, I know you played with Johnny this summer and everything, but I know how good he is, but he put on quite a show tonight. It was tough for you guys to slow down, wasn't he?
He was tough. Simple as that. He was tough.
For Jaden, what were the challenges in the first half getting the offense going? What were they perhaps doing to make things tougher than you guys had seen for the most part this season?
Well, early for me, it just got in foul trouble, and then it was just tough to get back in the game. But they're just a tough team. They played tough the whole game. Played physical the whole game. Had players that played excellent for them. So got to give credit to a good Wisconsin team, and they just play harder than us.
Jaden, you said this past weekend that Johnny Davis was underrated. I know a loss sucks, but as a friend, knowing Johnny Davis as a friend, is it cool to kind of see him get the recognition?
I mean, yeah. I feel like he played well. I knew he could, perform like that, and he just played good for his team.
Zach, at what point do you feel like you guys match their physicality?
I feel like they had tough to us the entire game and just played harder.
Ethan, Beck, I know we asked a couple questions about Johnny already, but he missed his first 2 shots of the game, but then it seemed like he was doing a good job making contested shots. When someone is doing that, what can you do other than play tough defense? Is it just one of those nights?
It's a combination of our defense and him being a great player. There's a lot of shots that he makes there that you just kind of have to shake his hand and be like, hey, that's a great shot. They get those high ball screens and the chin action. And he was making tough plays going to his left, and we wanted to try and keep him off his left, but it was hard because they had a big, and a lot of times they could pick and pop. But then there's other times where me personally at the end of the game, I'm frustrated with myself. A couple times they get into like a naked ball screen, and he kind of gets away from me. And, when you let a guy like that, Payne says, you let a guy like that get his head up, during the game, the basket looks a lot bigger for him. So, credit to him, definitely, he played an unbelievable game. He made a lot of tough shots. But there's definitely things that I want back, and I'm sure things as a team that we want back as well to kind of limit him a little bit. So, yeah.
Zach, at the end of the game there, you were getting yourself open underneath. Everybody was giving you the ball pretty well. Did that come along harder for you at the start of the game, or did it come easier towards the end of the game? You were getting some position, and everybody was seeing you were pretty well open.
At the start of the game, I wasn't tough at all. I was getting pushed around a little bit. I was missing easy shots, the shots that I make every single time, or I should make every time. In the second half, I realized what I did wrong, and I brought a little more toughness in the second half, and that's why I got the easy shots and made the shots.
Anything else?
Zach, what were they doing to out-tough you guys?
Just played harder. They got all the 50-50 balls. They dominated the glass at times. They just wanted it more. They ran harder. They did everything. They executed better.
Anything else? Thank you, guys.
don't you give us a opening statement? We'll take questions for Johnny Davis, and then we'll excuse him and take questions for Coach. Go ahead.
All right. Thanks, Patrick. Obviously, Matt's got a terrific team. I think ours is pretty good too, but guys just battled. We were able to, withstand the foul issues and continue to compete. And this guy to my left, obviously, made big plays when we needed them most. So, I was really proud of our guys, just the grit. I've said it for those that have followed us all year. This group has, an abundance of that and resolve, and that helps them when things aren't quite going well. And it's not always perfect, but they continue to battle and find a way. So just really proud of them and happy that they get rewarded for their efforts.
Questions for Johnny Davis? Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Johnny, I think this is the first time you guys had a full team since the Marquette game. I'm just curious, in some ways, did this remind you of the type of ball you guys played early in the year, especially in Vegas, when guys made plays, you and Brad hit shots and won that tournament there?
Yes, it definitely does, because we need everybody on the team, whether they haven't played a minute all year or they're playing 40 minutes a game, something like that. Coach tells us that all the time, that next man's always got to be ready to step up, and I thought we really brought that mentality into the game tonight.
Johnny. Ethan Morton talked about preventing you from getting to your spot and kind of forcing you to take tough shots. But when you're forced to take contested shots, just how do you kind of stay in that zone and continue to make tough baskets?
Keep shooting them.
Johnny, you were teammates with Jaden on Team USA. A lot of hype about him coming into this season. You were left off that preseason All Big Ten list. Was this game personal to you in any way?
No, not at all. I attack every game the same. It was a big one. Obviously, it's a conference game. We beat them at their place too. But nothing personal between me and Jay. It's all love.
Johnny, I'm curious to know, was there something in your breakfast this morning that just had you playing as well as you did? I mean, 30 points against Houston is a lot, but then 37 tonight. Just what was going through your head throughout the game?
I didn't even eat breakfast this morning, actually. But
you did?
No, I didn't. I was up. I was up. Don't worry.
Okay.
I just went out and played my game. My teammates did a really good job of getting me the ball in my spots. So credit to them.
Johnny, a lot of games left after this one. I'm sure your coach is going to remind you of that if he hasn't already done so. But what do you think this does for the team, and maybe sending a message to the rest of the league about how good this team can be?
I think it shows our team what we're capable of doing. We came in tonight and weren't scared that they're ranked third in the country. We're playing at Mackey Arena. If we just come in, be humble and confident, we can do anything.
Johnny, what means as much to you, the 37 points or the 14 rebounds?
I'd probably say the 14 rebounds. I think I rebounded the big kid from Purdue, Edie. So, yeah, I'd probably say that means a little more because he's like 8 feet tall.
Johnny, after the game, what was the celebration like? What were your teammates saying to you just with how huge of a win this is?
They weren't really saying too much. They were throwing water bottles around our locker room. My jersey's soaked right now, and it's cold. But, like I said, I give all the credit to them. Everybody else came out and fought tonight.
And, Johnny, I know you said that you have to continue to take contested shots. But, again, when Purdue's putting length on you with Ivy and Morton, just how do you continue to find that space to get those shots off?
I would say elevation on my jump shot. With the length, you got to get it off quicker and you got to jump higher. But I thought I kind of attacked the rim early, which, kind of made them sag off a little bit, which allowed me to elevate over them.
Johnny, you said a minute ago that you guys showed tonight what this team could do. Did you show a lot of people what you could do individually tonight?
Certainly I did. I thought I shot the ball really good tonight, but like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do that without my teammates getting me the ball in the positions to score.
Johnny, you guys shut Jaden Ivey down a lot in the first half. What was kind of the recipe to doing that, even though he did score a bunch in the second half? But the first half, he was really shut down.
He's a great scorer, especially in transition. So the game plan was, everybody sprint back, build a wall, so he's not able to, snake his way into the lane and get to the cup.
Maybe one more. Any other questions for John? No? Thanks, man. You go ahead. Thank you. Questions for Coach Gard?
guessing you went into this game telling Chris and Steven try and stay out of foul trouble at all costs. How difficult is it to defend Purdue when you guys are losing bodies the way you were, and Tyler too?
Yeah, I thought, both those guys did a good job of, it's hard to, specifically with Edie, to guard him without, he's so big, and they do such a great job of positioning him and everybody around him that it is a tough cover. I'll look through the film and see if, they were all, if I have to petition for 6 fouls and change the rule like the NBA, or if they were legit fouls. We needed to play physical. We did. We had a lot of guys that stepped in and maximized their opportunities, and guys filling in for each other. We haven't had everybody together, except for today at shoot-around was the first time in a long, long time that we've had all 17 there. So it's a team effort, and like I said, it's going to take. It takes all of us. It's taken all of us, and it's going to continue to take all of us. And those two are just an example of giving everything they can to try to minimize the paint the best they can.
Greg, obviously you guys made some plays down the stretch, but I'm just curious what you thought of the importance of the first half. I think you guys were 1 of 8. You were down only 8-2, and then you settled in, got paints in the point, and had a halftime lead. And you've been down at this place at halftime at this place before. You know how tough it is to come back.
Yeah, I thought it was important just to control the snowballing that could take place. And to be honest with you, Jeff, the play that Chucky made at the end of the half when he got the steal and then dove on it, was able to flip it to Johnny for the dunk. That was big because the place was they had made some plays and knocked down some shots, and the place was starting to get louder and louder. And I think that was a good answer there at the end of the half. It kind of got it back to it was good for us to go in with a little bit of confidence going into the locker room.
Speaking of those second chance opportunities, the steals, the offensive rebounds, how important were those in getting the win tonight?
Well, it's important from an offensive rebound standpoint. Yeah, it gives us extra possessions. I think we got a 3, at least one off of them. Brad's 3 that we took the lead on, I think, was an offensive rebound. So those are important. I thought we, for the most part, even though they got 13, we were able to minimize their ability to get rebounds, and they do a great job of kicking them out to shooters and double. They get the rebound and they get 3 out of it. So, I thought we, did a decent job. We can always be better, and we'll find things on film that we need to improve upon.
As much confidence as you had in Johnny coming into this season, has he surprised you at all in what he's been able to do?
Well, I've always said his number one trait is his competitiveness and his willingness to lay it all on the line for his team. And you heard him several times mention his teammates, and that's really what he's always been about. He's gotten bigger, stronger, more explosive. Obviously, physically, he's gotten better. The USA thing that he did with Caleb and with Jaden was big for him in terms of being in that atmosphere and getting that experience. But he's also, he's improved. He's gotten a lot better over the last year. He's worked at it. He's a great listener. He's very coachable. So when you put all those things together, then you have a pretty special player.
Coach, you've taken some really good teams into this environment and seen them shrink in that crowd. What's different about this group, even though they're so young, and you guys get down 7 in the second half, the foul trouble, you're 6 of 24 from three-point range. Just what's different about this group that they've been able to hang on, and then some of the games in Vegas you had too, Indiana.
They don't flinch. They don't flinch. They continue to battle. They don't get rattled. I think it starts with guard play. We got a really good freshman in Chucky. Lauren that's working his way back from being out for a little bit. I've thought those two guys had a maturity level beyond a freshman. I've watched a lot of freshmen come in here and get wide-eyed, as Purdue's teams can do to you. But you combine that with Brad, and then you have Johnny. So we have some maturity and some experience combined just with some resolve. And they don't, like I said, they don't get rattled. Just stay the course, stick to what we do, and go on to the next possession.
Greg, you've been asked about defending those big guys, but what about your defense overall? Purdue's been hitting from 3, hitting from everywhere. Did you think your defense was solid, especially early, to keep you in the game?
I thought there was very few mistakes we made in terms of chasing Stevanovic, Newman, Ivy. There were very few mistakes in terms of screens. As I'll break the film down, obviously their ability to play inside with the 2 bigs, puts a lot of pressure on you, and you have to sometimes you have to pick your poison in terms of what do you want to. They're going to get something, so you just try to be as efficient and make each possession as tough as possible, and then obviously try to make sure they don't get a second shot. That's another, another challenge as well with them.
Greg, one player that benefited from your foul trouble through more opportunities was Carter Gilmore. Just what did you see from him today, and just what have you seen from him up until this point?
Well, I mean, we've gone through the last 10 days or so, and he's one of the guys that have been available to me, so he's had to play and had to prepare for this. So, he's a guy that just understands what we're about. He's nothing flashy, but he's just solid. He understands what we're doing, plays hard, good teammate. So, we needed a lot of bodies as we had to rotate through the foul difficulties.
Hey, Greg. Brad Davidson still can play, still as good as ever. Hit 2 big threes, clinched your free throws, basically the game. Talk a little bit about how important, because we talked to the Big Ten media days about you were going to put him in some different roles, put some other people out there to shoot, play some basketball. But when it came down to the crunch, there was Brad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's on my team, because he's a gamer. When the stuff's on the line, he wants the ball. I kept asking him during some of those dead balls and timeouts, what do you want to run? And, we were looking at, what we were going to set up for him. We were going to set something up for Johnny. So he's a coach on the floor. Talk about the competitiveness and the grit and the resolve. He's as competitive and as gritty and as tough as anybody I've ever coached. And he happens to be a good basketball player too. So, like I said, I'm glad he's on our team. All right, thank you.
And Matt, what do you want your guys to take out of this game?
Well, I thought, in the first half from an offensive standpoint, just, we weren't some shots didn't go down for us, but I thought that Wisconsin took us out of some things. I thought Wisconsin was just mentally and physically tougher than we were. And the thing that really harped on our guys throughout the year is, even though, our percentages aren't, they're not terrible, like who are you when you miss your free throws? Who are you when you don't have a great, field goal percentage, in the game? Like, can you still grind games out? Can you still win those games? And we've had some close games that we've won. We've obviously had a couple close ones that we've lost here. And just trying to get them from a preparation standpoint just more dialed in and just being, being a tougher team. And, right now we're searching for that. And we're really searching from a defensive standpoint. And I think Johnny Davis, really exposed that.
Staying with defense, one thing we've heard you talk about for years was taking an opponent's best player and making them really have to work for everything.
Right.
At least make them inefficient.
Right.
That's kind of been a struggle for this year's team.
No question.
Is that because of personnel? Is that because of them maybe not playing together as well as you'd like? Or how do you account for that?
It's a lot of different guys in there. See, what they run, we switch a lot of what they run. So we get different people on stuff. We try to stop your action and then force you to make plays. But as the game progressed, they didn't go to a lot of it, and they just, tried to get him in some different, actions off the ball and just really coming off ball screens or breaking you down. So, we just have to get better at what we do more than anything. But we have to, you just don't announce your basketball identity. You don't announce your defensive identity. You earn those things. And we just haven't gotten there as a team. And, you and Mike cover us and talk all the time to us. And we keep winning games, and I keep telling you we're not very good on defense. And you guys look at me like it's coach's talk, but it's not coach's talk. We're not very good on defense. We have to be able to be better collectively, and we have to be better individually. Because sometimes you get in space. Sometimes you get in space and you can't double things, or you can't corral the ball, or you can't get it stopped. You got to be able to, to get that guy and stop him, when he's in front of you. So we just got to keep working. It's not the end of the world, but obviously Wisconsin outplayed us.
Oh, I believe you.
Your body language didn't say so.
Why was you guys got that 7-point lead the second half?
Yeah.
Why didn't you? We've seen the second gear from this team.
Right.
Kind of extend that. What prevented that from happening tonight?
Yeah, I think their second gear prevented that. I think a lot of times when you struggle, you want to look at yourself, which you do. I think it's better, obviously, after you watch tape. But we out rebound them. But to me, it just seemed like they were quicker to the ball. Maybe they were just quicker to the ball in a couple of those scrambles that were key, especially a couple of ones at the end, especially the one that Brad hit, the three. But like that to me was at that point, it just seemed like they made some 50-50 plays. We'd split free throws. We'd do something positive, not get anything out of it, miss a layup, miss a 5-footer, miss free throws. So we just opened a couple open threes in that stretch. We just couldn't make those next plays to push the game out there. And then obviously they played well in that stretch.
Matt, it looked like you could just never get any consistency offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
You had really good stretches in both
Right.
areas, and then you had stretches where you just had to shake your head. It's like, what are we doing out there?
What are we doing? Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, no, it's just, it's a game of runs. Are they making good plays? Sure, like Johnny Davis is a good player. Like he made some tough pull-ups, whatever, but you got to get him off his left hand. He loves his left hand. We had some guys just not aware sometimes when he's in a couple ISOs of, it doesn't mean he can't make a play going right. He's just fabulous going left. He can get to the rim that way and dunk it. He can shoot a pull-up. He can shoot a step back there. But we just couldn't get, like you said, that consistency. We when we get the ball down low, we miss something or we get fouled, and we just couldn't reward ourselves for some good plays, and it just seemed like they were doing more of it. And obviously they were in foul trouble, so like going to that and trying to go down low, and they obviously were having a tough time with Zach. So we just wanted to kind of keep doing that and stay with it to the best of our ability. But no, it's I really don't have a great answer for you until I watch the tape, because you're talking in theory about runs.
What do you feel like your guards or your overall offense had to do better without the freedom of movement maybe that comes with non-conference play?
I don't know if it's the freedom of movement. That's good basketball. I think Wisconsin's well coached. I think they know who their guys are. I think they do a good job. It's really hard in coaching to have role definition. I think they do a good job with their roles. Obviously, Johnny Davis has a career night to beat us, but he still does it. Like, you know what I mean? Give him credit. Like, you know, he's a player, and but no, you have to know who you are and just play to your strengths. There's nothing in the rule book that says if you can't go left, you got to dribble left. There's nothing in the rule book if you're a below-average three-point shooter that says you got to shoot three-pointers. Like, just know who you are, play your role, do those things, and for the most part, our guys do that. Like, you know, they do that. You know, we just have to grow up a little bit and be tougher. That's all. Like, that was a great lesson for us. You'd hate to have a loss for that lesson, but that's part of competition.
Man, I know you last week you had said that, you know, you'd question your guys about, you know, after giving up 90 that night, that
sure,
the nights you don't shoot well, that stuff like that bad thing can happen. That happened tonight, basically 41% from the field. But did you feel like you were getting good shots that weren't going,
yes,
or was your selection good?
Yeah, I felt good about it. Like, we got in a little bit of a scramble there, you know, in the second half, where, like, we get a couple offensive fouls while the ball's going inside. Like, that's all right. Like, you know, things like that is going to happen. You know, we didn't secure the ball a couple times. It led to some runouts for them, and but you just have to be solid. I think the one thing it's a hard thing to do in coaching today is like learning. The guys do the individual workouts. They do one-handed passes. They move you know, and everything. Just sometimes, I know you sound like your old man, but being fundamentally sound is a good thing in basketball. You know, playing on 2 feet is a good thing. You know, and just making that next play. At times we get where we're just a little careful, a little casual, you know, with the basketball. We're making some one-handed plays, and then when guys have active hands and they're aggressive like Wisconsin is, you know, now things just aren't as clean. And so, you know, we just have to shore those things up. We just have to be better in that area. Obviously, we win the rebound battle, but we turn over 12 times. When you play Wisconsin, they're not going to turn over very much, but we'd love to have those 5 possessions back. If you want to solve the game off, you know, if you got 5 more possessions, you probably win the game. And so, you know they got more cracks at it than we did.
From an opposing coach's standpoint, who has to prepare for him, how different or much better is Johnny Davis's?
Well, we had him in USA basketball. Obviously, he didn't get as much of an opportunity last year with that senior-laden team that they had. And he's good, man. He was good. Obviously, he made the U19 team that Jaden and Caleb first played on. But he's really good. He's great off his left hand. You know, he's got a great pull-up. He's a streaky three-point shooter. He made a huge one, you know, when we go under that ball screen for whatever reason. You know, we wanted to keep him off his left hand, but we didn't want to give him space where he could just stop and shoot it. But he's really good. He's a definition of a two-way player, all right? He's given the same amount of effort on the defensive end. He gets deflections. He gets blocks. He takes on challenges. And then offensively, you know, that speaks for itself. He's a fabulous player. You know, he's got a bright future. I'd like to be his agent.
And Ethan seemed particularly upset about his kind of performance defensively, and
yeah,
especially again not limiting Johnny when he was
right,
going left, and kind of knowing that was in the scouting report. But what does that say about Ethan as a player? Just kind of seems like he really puts that load defensively on himself in
right,
terms of stopping the team's best scorer.
Well, Ethan did a really good job until the end. You know, he had a couple breakdowns there at the end when he fouled him on the one, and then when they were buried in that corner, and then he just got too deep on his line. Then they threw it out to Johnny Davis there, and he hit that three. But no, he's made big-time strides. Obviously, he had a tough year last year, but he's made a big-time stride. He cares. He cares. Our guys care. It's just it's a hard thing when you get ranked high and you get into. It's just a very hard thing when everybody is kind of like, you know, they still have that understanding of what discipline you need to be a successful player and be a successful team. That's why losses normally shape you. Now it's like, okay, we can't get back to this. So, Ethan's worked really hard to be in this position. You look at his line, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, 6 rebounds. He's out there competing. But he's got to learn for it. He hasn't been in a lot of these. And so, but he cares and wants to win.
You talked about needing to be tougher.
Yes.
How do you coach toughness?
You recruit it is the best way to do it. Because who you are for 18 years old, you can't change. That is who you is. Now, can you grow somebody from a certain point and make them better at something? Yes, but I don't think you can make somebody awful at toughness and make them great. I don't think that works. You're jumping way too far on that. But just you try to instill from a mental toughness. Mental toughness is just doing simple things over and over and over again. That's what mental toughness is. When something applies in the game of basketball, and this is what I'm supposed to do, I do my job every single time. That's mental toughness. And so from a physical standpoint, we talked about it before. So I write on the board every game. I have a big slot on offense. I have a big slot on defense. And then at the end, and I say it a handful of times in the year because I mean it, then in the middle it says play hard. And so I have a couple things in there at play hard. And I always say what I wrote on offense and what I wrote on defense does not matter if you don't play hard. And what I wrote under play hard this time was embrace the physicality of the game. Embrace getting hit and still being able to make a play and not look at the ref for a call. Just play through those things. Be able to have that. I don't think we were bad in that area, but we definitely weren't as good as Wisconsin. And that's what we got to get. We got to collectively be better, at those things. It doesn't mean we're bankrupt. It just means we got to be better. And it's a game. It's a fine line. You got into a possession game there at the end. It's a possession game. So you just got to be a possession better to tie it, and then you got to be another possession better and getting loose balls or not turning the ball over. It's just that mental and physical toughness.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Good question.